having a bit of a hard time at the moment getting comic book universe citizenship. Hey everyone, and welcome to the new and updated version of TBR Assemble. It's the new year, so I thought I'd update TBR Assemble. I've been planning this since about October time, and it's all come together now, and I am so excited to show you what I have done to improve and bring a bit of a new dimension to TBR Assemble. If you don't know what TBR Assemble is, it's essentially my Avengers-based TBR game, and the rules are essentially the same in the sense that I roll a dice 6 times, I move up the Avengers-based board like I did last year, and then each time I land on a different colour, it represents a different genre. I then pick from my TBR cards, which are based on different Avengers characters, and whichever character I get has a different prompt, and I then fulfill the prompt. Only this time around, there's a little bit of a storyline RPG type idea to go along with it, because I keep on seeing RPG style and storyline style TBR games everywhere, and I just wanted to get involved with that as well. I love that idea. I have loved all of like the RPG readathons and storyline readathons and all of that kind of stuff. Like this entire year I've been really getting into it, and I wanted to do something a little bit similar for my TBR games. So what I'm going to do is show you this storyline, things like this, and then we'll go into the roles and exactly what I'm reading for the month. So let's go over to the computer and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about in terms of storyline. We are met by Gwenpool, who is one of my favourite characters. She is from our world and she got pulled into the Marvel Universe and she now lives here. So it's says, welcome to the Marvel Universe, I'm going to help you settle in here. Well, it's more likely I'll help you find all your favourites and live your superhero or villain dreams like I do. You'll be running this comic book world with me once you get the hang of things, but first, let's explore. The rules are simple. For every book picked that fits the genre of the prompt earns a rewrite the prompt reward. So last year I found myself constantly going wrong and like not paying attention to the genres of the cards I was pulling. I was just sort of picking anything that fits. So this year I want to try and like work on genres of the prompts I have picked. So every single time I do that, I then gain the reward of rewriting the prompt. So if in the next month or in a couple of months time, if I pick up a prompt and go, I don't have anything that fits that, I can slightly rewrite the prompt to then fit a book that I want to read or make it a little bit easier on myself. For every book that fits your yearly goals earns a change card reward. So essentially what this means is that every time I read a book, say off the priority list, or if I read in a genre I wanted to read more of, like retelling, sci-fi, that kind of thing, anything like this, anything that works towards my yearly goals that I will leave a link to up above, I can then also earn a reward. That means I can change a card. So essentially if I pick a card and I'm like, no, I do not want to read that whatsoever, or whatever, I can change that card with absolutely no penalties whatsoever. I've just got to obviously read a book or two that fits the yearly goals that I've already set to allow myself to do that. And then every time you collect all 6 Infinity Stones, you can, for any reason, move 1 space forward or 1 space back on the board. So that means whenever I've picked a blue, a green, a purple, a red, and a yellow card, and then also I've landed on orange, that means I can then, for any reason at any time, move forward 1 space or 1 space back. So if I'm feeling more like reading a certain genre that month or whatever, I can just move 1 space forward or 1 space back if I've missed that or whatever, with absolutely no penalties whatsoever either, because I love that idea. I keep on nearly landing on fanfiction and I'm always like, I really want to read some fanfiction, which is part of my goal. So if I do that and I've got this reward, I can then just move forward or back to that fanfiction space or whatever it happens to be with no penalties either. And now we move on to the actual storyline bit. So click on any of the icons or people to go to a brand new location and find something to do there. So today we are going to be going on to the SHIELD logo. So we're going to be going to the Triskelion, which is where the SHIELD is basically run. And this prompt is, Coulson is everyone's favourite agent. Read some fanfic to discuss with him, because it is canon in the comics that he has a meeting with Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, and they discuss fanfiction together. And that is essentially how this is going to work each month. I'm going to pick a different icon from that previous page and it will take me to a new location, and then I have a different little challenge to do every single month. So I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, please leave your comments down below and I will do my best to answer them. And now let's get into the roles and see exactly what I picked for the rest of my TBR. So today we're going to be using an Iron Man because 2023 is actually the year Tony dies, and I am in denial essentially, and I haven't used him before, so I might as well use him now. And we're going to start all the way back at 1 because it's a brand new year. So role number 1 is a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That is Green Comics. Starting out strong. Let's go this way. Please start out strong. Xialing, a female author. That's pretty strong. I'll take that. My first prompt was Xialing, which is to read a female author. Now I have 2 options for this. The first one is a comic book author and the second one isn't. The first one is Reign of X, and this is actually my backup thinking about it because Reign of X has Tiny Howard on the team. I really want to continue on with this series because I ran out of time entirely in December to finish this series and get to the Hellfire Gala, and I really want to get to that as soon as possible. So I really want to get to it and get to that point essentially and just read more Reign of X and try and catch up because I am still very painfully far behind. So that's why I'm going to try and use it for this prompt. Essentially why this is a backup is because my other option is Shauna Maguire's Lost in the Moment and Found. Now I may not be able to read this one in January because I have it on pre-order, but usually I find Shauna Maguire books get pushed back by at least 2 weeks in England for no apparent reason every single time one of them comes out, and it's really annoying. But fingers crossed that doesn't happen this time and it actually arrives on time so I can actually read it. But that's why I've got the Reign of X as a backup, because I don't know if it's going to be arriving or not, but fingers crossed it does. Role number 2 is another 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That is blue. That is space. That's sci-fi. I just had to think for a second then. I completely forgotten. And that is Iron Man, an old book on the TBR. My next prompt was Iron Man, which is to read an old book off the TBR, and this is obviously a sci-fi, so I'm going for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, because this is a very old book. This has actually been in my house for I don't know how long. I just know that this was originally published in 1979 and I need to read this anyway for the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy read along, which is the Don't Forget Your Towel along, and it definitely counts as a very old sci-fi book on my TBR, and I'm very excited to finally read this. Role number 3 is a 3. So 1, 2, 3. Yellow, that's Own Voices. So let's go over here, and that is Legion, a book with hair-raising scenes. And yes, I am very proud of this prompt, and I can't believe I didn't come up with it sooner, but very proud of this prompt. Next prompt was Legion, which is a book with hair-raising scenes, and you have no idea how proud I am of that prompt, because Legion, I don't know if you can see that properly, has troll doll hair in this scene, and he does in the comics. He calls it his troll doll hair, and his hair is permanently upright and all the rest of it like a troll doll. And I'm so happy with the prompt, with the book I picked for this, because I went for Onyeka and the Academy of the Sun, and her powers come from her hair, and it sounds very hair-raising in the sense of her hair. You have no idea how proud I am that I managed this. You have no idea how proud I am that I managed to fit this card to this book. I was so pleased with myself, you have no idea. But anyway, this is a middle grade which has been described as Black Panther meets X-Men, and that's all I really needed to know, because I love Black Panther and I love the X-Men. So very excited to read this one, and this one was actually also gifted to me by my best friend for Christmas, so thank you very much, Charlie, for giving me this book and giving me the opportunity to use it with this specific card. I'm still so pleased with myself. You have no idea how pleased with myself I am that fit. Role number 4 is a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is on to retellings. I'm getting quite a good mix today. So I'm going to go to this bit here, and that is Dane Whitman, legend based. Next prompt was Dane Whitman, which was a legend based book, so I'm going for the next one in the Once and Future series. This is a King Arthur retelling where a family is basically tasked with keeping King Arthur and other supernatural threats from taking over the world, because in this King Arthur is not so good guy, and the grandson gets dragged into it. He's never known this life whatsoever, and his grandmother is dragging him into it. He doesn't want to be there. It's really, really good fun. I love this series so much. I'm probably going to be rereading the first one and then reading the second one, because I read the first one back in like February last year, so it's been a while, so I need to refresh my memory. But it's such a good fun series, I cannot wait to continue it. Then my final roll is a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another retelling. Okay. Kind of wish that had gone to fantasy, but I'll take it. We'll go over here, and I'm going to go with this one, I think, and that is Beast, a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Next we had Beast, which was Beauty and the Beast, so I'm going for The Beast is an Animal by Peter Nell Van Arsdale. This one I have owned for a horrendously long time, and it says on the back here, the beast is an animal, you better lock the gate, or when it's dark it comes for you and then it will be too late. And that's all I really know. I just really love this cover, and it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling that's been on my list for a really, really long time. I want to read more retellings, and also I want to get through my retelling backlist, so this just fits perfectly. And I mean, I love Beast as well, and I think this is going to be a really good one. And that was all of my rolls, because Coulson gave me my 6th roll. I'm still trying to decide whether or not I'm going to do this and have still 6 rolls each time or not. I think I'm going to go with whatever I feel like that month and how much time I've got. This month specifically, I don't have that much time, so I'm only going for 5 rolls. But then I have one other book to also read, and that is Lockwood & Co. The Screaming Staircase by Jonathan Stroud. This is the first one in a sort of MGYA paranormal kind of series essentially, and this one I've been intrigued by for a while, because every time I've googled books like Skullduggery Pleasant, this one comes up straight away, and it comes up on basically every list, so it's got a lot to live up to, but I'm sure it will. Either way, this one is a MGYA, like I said, and it's about paranormal investigators, and it says on the back here, AJ Lockwood & Co. investigators. After dark, ring bell and wait beyond the iron line. The dead are back to haunt the living. Evil spirits crowd the streets after dark. Are you in danger of being ghost touched? And the reason why I want to read this one is A, because I miss Skullduggery a lot, and I've got to wait until like March, April time to read the next one, but there we go. And B, also the TV show for this, which is the adaptation, is coming out on Netflix in January, and what I like to do is try to read books around the time the adaptations are coming out, so I can kind of compare and contrast. And essentially I'm just really excited to read this one. I've heard amazing things about Jonathan Stroud's writing, specifically about the Bartimaeus trilogy, or series I should call it, but I'm more interested at the moment in Lockwood, because it sounds like Skullduggery, so we'll see if it's like Skullduggery or not, or if it's just a fun time. We'll see. Either way, very intrigued by this book. And that is actually the end of my TBR. I usually have a few other things on here, but frankly, I'm not trying to like overload myself in January, and also I've got a very busy January, so I thought I'd leave the TBR a little bit shorter than usual, just to give myself some wiggle room and just time to take it slow and start the new year right, essentially. So that is the end of my TBR, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me a book you really need to read in January, I'd love to know. Or if you don't have that much time, leave me a ghost-related emoji down below to let me know that you were here. I'll also leave a link as well down below to all my social media if you want to check it out, including to the Comic Book Sanctum, which is my website dedicated to Marvel Comics, as well as to my Etsy and Redbubble store, which sells bookish merch if you're interested in that. Or if you just want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here. And over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time everyone, bye!